Welcome to Valley News Live at 4. I'm Bobby Fouts. We're following breaking news for you out of Grand Forks, where 26-year-old Nicholas Narveson has officially been charged with double-A felony murder. Now, Grand Forks police, they were sent to Sledster's Food and Brew on South 4th Street shortly before 7:30 last night. They say they found the victim, now identified in court documents as James Irwin Jorgensen, on the ground inside with gunshot wounds, who later died after life-saving measures were performed. Now, Narveson of Grand Forks, he was arrested in the 300 block of Demers Avenue just a short time later. Court records say that witnesses inside the bar saw Narveson take out a handgun and fire multiple rounds at Jorgensen. Narveson then ran from the scene. Again, later arrested in the 300 block of Demers Avenue. He is in the Grand Forks jail for murder, terrorizing, reckless endangerment, and criminal mischief. And we continue our coverage out of Carrington as crews are on scene following a train derailment. Now, this footage that you'll see right here is from Carrington resident Doug Zink, who says that the derailment is 5 miles southeast of his farm. There are a total of 29 cars involved in this crash. Officials say that no one has been hurt and the threat to those living nearby appeared to be minimal. Now, North Dakota officials are reporting that the cars were carrying anhydrous ammonia, sulfur, and methanol. Now, the ammonia was the biggest risk, but wind was carrying the smoke away from the nearby town of Bordulac, which has about 20 people. Now, exposure to high concentrations of ammonia in the air can cause burning of the nose, eyes, and throat and respiratory tract, and can result in blindness, lung damage, or even death. Now, stay with Valley News Live throughout the night as we continue to follow this breaking news.